Welcome to the Waaagh Journal. So in theory, I shouldn't have to change my list because the current iteration of it is undefeated. However, I was doing I did notice that some of my units that I am fielding aren't necessarily as optimal as they could be. For instance, for points purposes, I dropped the kill rig and took a hunter rig. Now, the hunter rig, the shooting is abysmal. It has two guns, super lava, which is meh, and a sticker cannon, which is like one shot. It's not really worth it, honestly. It's just a transport for the beast snaggers, and in my opinion, I feel like a truck could do it better. Also, I have two mechs, not the big mechs, the little mechs that heal the vehicles and give them a +1 BS. They do what they're supposed to do. However, I noticed that it's the one mech is doing all the work. The other one is kind of like is buffing the gun, but he's not really. He's like an afterthought. People forget he's there. Even he's just there. I feel like in order to optimize and make better efficiency, I could drop the one mech. I'm going to bring him in another list, but just for now, for the argument's sake, and to see how well I can do, I'm going to drop the mech and I'm going to drop the hunter rig. Also, I'm dropping one of the enhancements on one of the characters, and it gives me enough points so that I can actually take not just any boss, big boss. I'm taking Maaagh. So Maaagh and two beast bosses. Now, I don't want it to be. I'm not trying to be like a super power gamer and not make it fun for my opponent, but at the same time, I think that the utility of these guys can be worth it to me. As we know, the orc killing power isn't tremendous. It's not great in this edition. But what we can do is we can play the mission. We can survive. That's a big deal. And I think that anything that would help us put over any additive would be, I would like to take Maaagh and run him and see what happens. Now, I do know that I can take 3 generic beast bosses and Maaagh. That might be excessive. But we love excess. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to see what I can do. By dropping the hunter rig, I think I can get more utility out of Maaagh Scragbad. And I'm the one mech. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the two big mechs together and keep the mech guns in close proximity, so I can keep one mech in that range, and he can buff and fix what he needs to do. And for the points that I receive from dropping that mech, I'm going to take a weird boy. And my thing is, I'm going to put him in a unit of shooter boys. I can take them out of the truck, even though I like them in the truck, but I can take them out, and that gives me access to the jump, and I feel like it's a good fit because the weird boy has his own shooting attack. So I'm going to give that a run, see how that goes. 3 trucks still. But now, instead of the hunter rig, I'm going to put the beast snaggers in a truck. Slugger chopper boys in the truck. Burner boys in the truck. And run around, try to get all the objectives and do the mission as it's necessary. Tactical missions are great right now. And we have enough bodies that we can move them where they need to be and do what needs to be done. Killing power, like I said, it's not great, but it's enough to hinder any my opponent's game plan. So it might be ill-advised, but even though this list is undefeated, I'm going to alter it slightly because I feel like it could be more optimal in places. So we're going to see what happens. The next game I got coming up, as far as I know, I think it's Dark Angels. I'm not going to skew my list. I'm going to take what I was going to take and try my best. And if everything goes according to plan, and I keep doing the right numbers, I see how high I can score and what I can do, and that this will be the list that I take to the tournament, because there will be an RTT coming up. Additionally, I do have fun lists I want to run, 100%. Like a bunch of mega knobs, knob with Waaagh banner, just knob units. I want to run a Gorkanaut. I have an idea where I put the Stompa on the board with War Boss, 20 boys, and a knob with Waaagh banner. Call the main Waaagh, run them out, and then once they're stuck in the second turn, we call it again. It's crazy. It's crazy ideas, but these are more fun. I'm building a competitive list, and I want to learn it and perfect it so that once I have that down pat, then I can just I can go play around, because there's a lot of options. Like there's really a lot of options in this index, and I don't have to go a certain way. I had flirted with even dropping the second big mech with shock attack gun, although if you know me, you know I love them ever since 8th edition. Even before that, to be honest, I loved it when the hits were random. When you roll doubles, you had a chance to like teleport yourself into the enemy. I was running them back then. I didn't care. You know what I mean? They got obnoxious. Was it last edition when they went up to like 135 points or something stupid? Because it wasn't worth it at all. It was just not. So I didn't run them, but they're back. They're back now, and I have ideas. So we're gonna run it. We're gonna see how it goes, and here's hoping. What I've decided, actually discovered more like, that although my list is effective against higher end competition, it's not as focused as it should be. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not synergizing as much as I need to be with my list. I've been leaning pretty heavily into beast snagger units, mostly beast bosses on Squigosaurs. It's come to my attention that Squighog boys would be a good complement. Currently, I'm using bikes because I like them, and big mechs, shock attack guns. I do enjoy the DACA. However, playing the mission it does defeat the purpose. I noticed that there are a few units that are not doing what they should be doing, or doing nothing, kind of just sitting there. And in certain mission types, the objective is to move around, not sit on objectives. And sometimes you can't even score if you're just sitting on objectives. You have to do stuff. So it bears in mind I might need a little bit more mobility. Also, I might need to revisit my list, and if I'm going to build it one way, kind of skew it in that way. Like if I want to do shooty, I have to go all the way shooty. Although I like a balance. I think a balance is nice, but with what I'm running now, I might have to currently switch my my tactics, and that might include me bringing another beast boss. But I will see. I have to weigh my options and see exactly what I can do and what I can bring to the table. So We'll try that. I did, however, learn some tactics. I learned how to use the CP that I need to use. I know when to use certain stratagems. I did. I know that I used the fight on death. The orcs never beaten. I used that too soon. I should have held it. And I know when to use it. You know what I'm going to do? I want to run it back.